in the building, man. Y'all know what it is, man. It's go time. It's go time, my peopleizations. What's shaking? Yeah, I hadn't even hit the live and people was in the chat.
Wow, golly.
Big snack pack, salute. Mike Wary the Great, salute. Aaron Alexander, salute. Black Thanos, salute. Nitty G, salute. We got people calling already, Kurt, and we ain't even start, man.
Crazy.
Bonton South D-Town, Tunnel Vision, Ty King Alive, Mr. Finesse, salute. What's shaking? What's shaking, my peoples? What's shaking, my peopleizations? What's good with y'all, man? Kwane, salute. Hey, I'm gonna let Kurt go ahead and cook just so make sure y'all can hear him. Tamari Laurie, peace of blessings. Big Jag, Boxing and Barbecue, salute. Yeah, Kurt, let's make sure they can hear you.
Microphone check 1 2. What is this? Can you hear me, people? Can you hear me? This is Kurt Sugar. What's going on with everybody? On this rainy day in Jersey, it was 90 degrees and it got a little cooler now. It's poured down raining, but I love it. I love the rain.
Yeah.
You know, it's great, you know. So what's going on, people?
Yep, they said they could hear you loud and clear. G. Al, salute. Robert McIntosh, salute. Not Seeing the Dream, Vital Noon. What's going on with my peoples? TZ Frank, salute. The Boxer King, salute. What's good? What's good, my peopleizations, man? Yeah, it was 90 degrees, man, and then it went from 90 degrees to raining. But I was in the city, couldn't help it, huh? I was in the city, and but it ain't rain one bit in the city, not one drop.
That's crazy, man. You know, we got that crazy weather in Jersey and New York, man. It can do anything. It could be 90 degrees one day. Tomorrow's supposed to be 57. It could be 30. You know, you can have rain. It's crazy. It's very unstable here.
Yeah.
You know where we at.
That's wild, man. Because it's like, you know, I'm in the city, and the wife is like, "It's pouring down rain out here." I'm like, "Huh? Pouring down rain?" Man, it wasn't doing none of that in the city. And I got on the train to come back home and dozed off and missed my stop, man. But when I got off the train, I said the ground was wet, but the sun was still shining. So I missed the rain completely. KLC, salute. And when I dozed off on the train, it wasn't raining. So when I woke up, it was rain. The ground was all wet, but I missed it.
Wow, it's crazy.
Yep. Mr. Sheldon, salute. Mr. Finesse, salute. Ty King Alive, what's good with you? Salute. Mike Wary the Great. Dutch Entertainment, salute. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Mary Laurie. I seen that Brandon Marshall. Kurt, did you see that Brandon Marshall talking about he gonna knock out Deontay Wilder and all of that?
No, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, and he training now at Gleason's, you know, and now he talking about he gonna knock out Wilder, Joshua. He said Wilder ain't no tough guy. I'm like, man, dude, you ain't have one professional fight. What are you talking about? He's one of my favorite athletes, man. Roy Boy, Florida, salute. Victoria Duval, 904, peace of blessings. Tony Boswell, salute. Tiptoe Stallone, salute. Miami Snoopy, salute. Adonis, salute. Jay West, salute. My brother CB Sports TV, salute. LDTB, salute. What we got in there? My brother BFTB Boxing in the building. What's good with you? Yeah, he talking about he could knock out Dane Watson, Yasser Hussein, Winston Lee, salute. Real Boxer Talk 101, salute. Steven Johnson, salute. Shaking my guys. Yeah, he talking about, yeah, Kurt. Scrapbook, what's good? Scrapbook in the building.
Scrapbook, my brother.
Or Ruben 214, New Jersey, what's good? Supreme Beast Boxer Talk, salute. Syndicate J, salute. Mark Wonderlick, salute. TZ Frank, salute. Yeah, he said that he said he could knock out Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is no tough guy. I mean, I'm feeling like, you know, it's a ploy, you know, to put himself, you know, in that position. But he was saying these dudes ain't never lived a life like me and a background like me, and like, what are you talking about? Most boxers have rough backgrounds. That's why most of them become boxers. Marlo's Corner, what's good? Big Snack Pack, Jay West, Royal Q Dash, Woolbag, salute. Mr. Shelton, Mike Weary, salute. Yeah, Kurt. I mean, we've seen too many football players try to enter the realm of boxing because they feel like it's a contact sport and there's similarities, but it's just not, man. I don't get it, man. Leonard Ellaby's no salute. What you think, Kurt?
Listen, man, I love football, basketball, baseball, soccer, hockey. I'm a diehard sports fan and a knowledgeable one. You need one ball to play those sports. You need two balls to participate in boxing. You can't just walk in and start the fight and think you're going to be successful. I can give him Reggie Strickland, was a fighter that lost 274 professional fights, and he'll knock Brandon Marshall the hell out.
Mm-hmm.
Boxing is a different ball game, man. It's not like any other sport. That's why I love it so much. I don't care what kind of athlete. Ed Too Tall Jones, the standout defensive tackle and for the Dallas Cowboys, tried to fight. Mark Gastineau, a football player, tried to fight. Seth Mitchell, he tried to fight. And all was very unsuccessful because this is something you got to do at a young age. Now, Ray Mercer was the exception. He started fighting when he was 19. Ray Mercer was strong, but you can't do that. The boxing ring will make the truth out of you real quick. It's the moment of truth. The squared circle, as my father and the great Art Rush Jr. used to say. I learned from them both.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like it's disrespectful to the sport of boxing. First of all, you got dudes losing their life. You talking about what you do in the street fights. You got dudes in there and step through those ropes, man, and losing their life, man. We just lost another boxer, 2 weeks ago? We had 2 boxers lost in 1 week. This is, you don't play boxing. You know what I'm saying? You play football. And mind you, we had some serious injuries in the sport of football as well. We had guys that paralyzed, Ryan Shazier as of late, but he's walking now and things of that nature. But you don't play boxing. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, man, it's like, it's disrespectful to the sport. It's disrespectful to the boxers that risk their life for our entertainment. It's just disrespectful overall in the whole. You know what I'm saying? So it's and I have Brandon Marshall's 30 for 30 or whichever one it is. I believe it's his 30 for 30 or Football Life.
Right.
I have it on record, man, because I loved it, man. You know what I mean? I loved, his story and everything. He's one of my favorite athletes. But to say that you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna knock out Deontay Wilder, he's no tough guy. What are we talking about here, man? I'm starting to think that those effects, just like in the sport of boxing, it took a toll on Brandon Marshall, man. Harold Jones, get this smoke. Salute. Hustler Slim, salute. Leon Robinson, salute. Because at the end of the day, what are you talking about? He's no tough guy. How much more tough can you get? He's knocking everybody out. He's fighting. He's physically fighting and knocking everybody out. What's your definition of a tough guy? You know what I'm saying, Kurt? Like,
absolutely. Listen, man, Brandon Marshall, I like, but he's seeing pipe dreams, man, because boxers that crawl into the ring is in the 1% projectile. You got millions upon millions of people on the planet Earth, billions or whatever, and less than that is successful. Deontay Wilder will probably go down as the hardest puncher that ever stepped in the ring in a heavyweight division. If not boxing, he's up there with the Tommy Hearns and the Julian Jackson, Gerald McClellans, and Ernie Shavers. This guy's a different type of guy. I think he just wants notoriety. He's seeking, attention. He knows that, if he gets in the ring with Wilder and feel that he get not only the right hand, he feels one of Wilder's jabs, he gonna change his mind.
mm-hmm.
He gonna change his mind because Wilder is a KO fighter. you
Right.
know, a knockout type of fighter. So, you know, he don't know because he's on the outside the ring. Once he, you know, gets down and be in those rope in the square circle, man, it will make a man out of you real quick.
Yep. You know, and so Miami Snoopy just brought up a great point. He said Brandon Marshall got ties to Showtime. He should tell Steven Espinoza to set that up. And I think I'm gonna head over to the Gleasons tomorrow, Kurt, and see if I could link up with Brandon Marshall because I actually know his trainer. I'm really cool with his trainer, so I'm actually gonna try to go over there and see, you know, if I can link up with Brandon Marshall, and I'm gonna push that narrative. Listen, you down with Showtime? Set it up. I know Deontay Wilder don't mind setting that up. I know he don't mind. You know, we see them fly across the country for some work. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. Gleason's for those who don't know is a legendary boxing gym in New York, man. As a guy from New Jersey, I regret to this day that I never stepped foot in Gleason's gym. You know, me and Scrapbook talk a lot about Gleason's, man. He got stories for days, you know, but I'm gonna have him on a special guest one day. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But you know, I was at Lenny Shaw boxing gym, and as a kid, you know, my father used to talk about Gleason's gym, and I used to see it on MSG. That's a regional sports network. The Knicks, the Rangers, and boxing be on that channel. You know, so I regret it to this day that I never went to visit Gleason's.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times, man. More than a couple of times, but you know, it's changed a lot today's time, and now the lady that runs it, you know, everything's about money. Every time I go in there, she knows who I am, right? A little old Asian lady, and every single time I go in there, she tries to get me to pay, and I tell her I'm not trained, I'm not doing anything. I'm here, you know. I'm a journalist. You know, I'm here. I'm media, and every single time, it never fails. Never fails. Oh, you got to give me $70. $70? What are you talking about? So the trainers, because I'm cool with the trainers there, they always be like, no, he with me, he with me. And Kurt, this happens every single time. She knows exactly who I am. Exactly who I am. And she does this every single time. Never fails. Oh, you gotta get
Hungry,
70.
hungry for money, man.
Yeah.
Hungry for money.
Like she, you know, I was getting ready to say something that people might have took the wrong way, but you know, like she's running you know, a different type of business, you know. But it's like, what are we talking about? And check this out, Kurt. You could be in there. She'll tell me, oh, there's no media activity today. Or I didn't have nothing scheduled. I didn't see nothing on the schedule. Who's coming? And I say, nobody's coming. It's just me. Oh, okay, $70. $70? I'd be like, I'm not paying. Listen, stop it. Come on. Oh, come on. So then they come over and they be like, no, that's Blue. He good. He's with us. He with us. Oh, okay. Next time, $70. Every single time. Like, lady, when are you gonna realize that I'm never gonna pay you $70?
You know, Blue, it's funny you bring this up because there was a gym in New York. Remember when Charlo was in New York, how they disrespected him?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they racial profiling, and some gyms are like that. They funny style, even the fighters. So I can imagine how they treat the media.
Yep. Every single time I step foot in there, Kurt, she tells me $70. And so now I mess with her, right? I go in there and when it's like regular media activity for a fight week or something,
right?
And I tell her, oh, do I got to pay $70 to come in? Oh, no, today you good. Today you good. Like, what? What are we talking about here? I'm not training, you know. And you know they got the store inside the gym,
right?
And the guy inside the store, you know, this guy is something else too, man. I told him, I said, oh man, you know, I just wanted to grab a Nutri-Grain bar, and so I told him, you know, I only had a credit card, so I wanted to grab a Nutri-Grain bar. I said, man, how much is it? It's $1. So I said, oh man, I wanted to give him the credit card. No, only cash only. So I said, man, could I, give you back the change, Oh man, nah. He took the Nutri-Grain bar out of my hand. I said, my man, you see me here all the time. All the time. You couldn't let me go $1. You couldn't say like, next time I see you or. So I said, you know what? I had went to my boy Rec and I said, yeah, you got a single, man. So he gave me a single. He said, what you need it for? So I said, dude don't want to let me get a Nutri-Grain ball. He didn't want to let me slide, but I only had my credit card. And so he like, what? I said, yeah. So he like, man, for $1? And you come here all the time? I said, yeah. He said, man, don't give that dude your $1, man. You might as well wait, man. So I said, yo, you know what, man? You right, man.
Well, Blue, you on the front lines, man. So you know how, people, not the fighters, but people in the gyms could be funny style, man, acting real funny and disrespecting the media, man. You there to do a job, man. That's how people are, man.
Mm-hmm.
Funny, and you got to put up with that, man. And that's just, an experience nobody wants to go through, man. But unfortunately, your job, you try to get along with everybody, man. But, some people just funny like that.
Mm-hmm. It's bugged out, man. People are bugged out, man. But I'm just waiting for our special guest to get ready, man, so we can get this show started, man. But we're gonna start off by saying this, man. Kurt, what you think about the rematch with Shawn Porter, or should he go into a new fighter, new fresh meat with Danny Garcia? A lot of people were complaining about the fact that Danny Garcia doesn't deserve an opportunity, and he hasn't done much, at the welterweight division. He's a big name for what he did at the the junior welterweight division, but when it comes to the actual welterweight division, he hasn't accomplished much. He's beaten Robert Guerrero. He beat
Adrian
Granado, but and that was after he lost his belt. But he beat Paulie Malignaggi, and so a lot of people feel like he hadn't accomplished much to even deserve a shot at Errol Spence, and then a lot of people feel like it was premeditated. People feel like how Danny Garcia jumping in the ring, then a fight, all of a sudden they have a fight date. They feel like it was premeditated, and a lot of people feel strung along because everybody wants to see Errol Spence versus Terrence Bud Crawford. That's the fight everybody want to see. But I always say this, man, we shouldn't never put the carriage before the horse. You know what I mean? Because look how great of a fight this was with Errol Spence and Shawn Porter. And we in the sport of boxing, we always seem to put the carriage before the horse and want to see the next fight before we even seen the fight in front of us unfold first. So what you think about that, Kurt?
Yeah, we gotta. I'm guilty of that too. I think that's just a natural thing. You want the two biggest names in the division, especially when they're undefeated. It's just a dream matchup. I'm guilty of that as well. Because listen, it's supposed to have been heard in Charlo at the 154 pounds supremacy, and look what happened. It's been upset. The apple cart has been upset by J Rock, and Tony Harrison. So look how dramatic that scene has changed. So it can happen. It almost happened Saturday night. I didn't know who was going to get the victory. When they said split decision, I said, oh man, my heart skipped a beat because I said, are we in the precipice of an upset here? That would have been a major upset. I think we overestimated Earl Spence and we kind of underestimated Shawn Porter. I know I did, and Porter is a dog. I've been watching him since the amateurs, but Earl has so much momentum. Your natural instincts is gonna be like, okay, Spence is gonna win. He's gonna run through him. Some people said it's gonna be a tough fight. Even Danny Garcia ironically says Spence by split decision or majority decision. That's what he said, so he got it right. That was a tough fight. I thought Spence won 115, 112. You say Porter won a draw. I had no problems with that because there was like 3 swing rounds. I watched the fight again. It was a close close competitive fight. It was a fight of a war of attrition, of ebb and flow. One round Spence and another one Porter. So they couldn't really grab the momentum. I would like to see Spence and Porter because when you have a hotly contested fight, the rematch is it's going to build momentum. You know, when they announce it, you know, this pay-per-view did 300,000, maybe a little more. The next one will do maybe 5 or 6, you know. So you have to ride the momentum off the first fight going into the second fight. You know, people was always intrigued about a rematch. Look what's going to happen December 7th. Ruiz and Joshua, we're interested in that. And the same thing with Porter and Spence. So they should run it back. Danny has to wait his turn, even though you put Spence and Garcia at the Barclays Center because the Garcia large Puerto Rican population, plus he got people from Philly, you know, and New York is real close proximity. You know, Spence is very popular at Barclays Center, you know, so you can have that. He has opponents, so Spence wins either way. Or you can put the Porter rematch at Dollar Stadium, Jerry's World. So Spence has opponents, and that's why he's leaving Terrence Crawford in the dust. That's another story, but you know, Spence and Porter run it back.
Yeah, I feel the same way, man, because I feel like I you know, like I said, we put the carriage before the horse. You know, Spence and Porter was a great fight for the sport of boxing. And I see, you know, a lot of people saying, well, we want to see Crawford and Spence. And nobody's taking into account that Terrence Crawford has a fight already scheduled. So while we're saying we want to see Crawford and Spence next, you can't see Crawford and Spence next, and it's not Spence's fault. It's Terrence Crawford has a fight scheduled already. So he's not going to wait. This is October now. This is the first week in October. He fought Shawn Porter September 28th. Okay. That means that Terrence Crawford is not fighting for another 3 months. He has October, November, and he's fighting in December, which means that he's not going to fight until at least February or March. And more than likely, it'll be March or April because he's going to fight 3 months after his fight at the very, very least. So in the meantime, is Errol Spence supposed to sit on his hands and twiddle his thumbs? You guys are not paying attention to time, right? Okay, you got to take that into accountability. Errol Spence has to have a fight, and he's going to fight. He's not going to wait 7 months before he has another fight. Okay, today is what, October 2nd? So this is he fought September 28th. So Terrence Crawford is going to fight December 14th. So that means Terrence Crawford, like I stated, is not going to fight till April. So that means Errol Spence is going to fight again. He could fight in January. That's why he was scheduled to fight Danny Garcia January 25th. Now, after that, if he fights, let's say he fights Shawn Porter January 25th. Okay, now after that, we could get Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Should Errol Spence be victorious against Showtime Shawn Porter in the rematch, or Danny Garcia, or whomever he faces. So we have to stop saying like we don't want to see Crawford, we don't want to see Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia, we don't want to see Errol Spence versus Shawn Porter. We want to see Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Yeah, that sounds good, but Terrence Crawford is already busy. He's already taken up. So you want Errol Spence to sit on his hands? So here on one side, we don't want these fighters to be inactive. We complain about them being inactive, and then when they're active, right? We complain about them being active with guys we don't want to see, but we're not even paying attention to the time. The turnaround. This ain't back in Sugar Ray Robinson days, right? They ain't fighting once a week and twice a month and things of that nature. That's not happening. They fighting. Pay attention to the timetable, right? Pay attention to you could pretty much map out when the fights will take place. We don't even have to break the news for the time because it's pretty much already. You could do the time. You could do the math from the time they last fought. It's going to be 3 to 4 months after they last fought. What you think about that, Kurt?
Yeah, I want to say this. I was mapping out Spence's career before the Porter fight, and I was on different live streams, and I told people I predicted. And I said, wait a minute, Porter, Garcia, Crawford, he moving up to 154, Canelo possibly. I said, you know what? Spence is a pay-per-view fighter now. And the reason I said that now is like this. Crawford fights in December. And for what I'm hearing, they saying Garcia January 25th, but that's going to be pushed back, if he beats Porter. That's a big if now.
Mm-hmm.
If he beats Porter in the rematch, he can go for Crawford or Garcia. He got opponents. The Crawford fight can be 2 fights away. I know people don't want to hear it. If he fights Porter, it'll be the first quarter of 2020, and then later that year he can fight with Crawford or Garcia. Spence has opponents, man, and Crawford doesn't. And I'm gonna tell you what, on Crawford's side, and I'm gonna predict this. His opponents are so scarce. His competition is so scarce. Bob Arum is going to go to Jose Ramirez and say, you know what? I think you can beat Crawford. You should move up and challenge Crawford. And if you lose, you still be the junior welterweight champion. Bob would do that just to save his company, just to give his company a little push. So don't be surprised if he try to push Ramirez to fight Crawford. I mean, Crawford beat the brakes off him, but any name will do because Ramirez has a lot of momentum. Or if Regis Prograde looks good against Josh Taylor in the next 3 weeks, they're gonna be pushing for that fight. Mm-hmm. Crawford, he needs opponents, man, and I only see Progrades and Ramirez, and I don't know who else in the welterweight division that he could fight. It's nobody that we want to see because his name is Crawford and Spence, and we're gonna have to wait for that fight. So it's up to Earl because he has opponents. He got Porter, Garcia, Crawford.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so this is what we're saying. Put the pressure on Terrence Crawford. Put the pressure on Terrence Crawford to make the fight. Errol Spence have options. Terrence Crawford don't have the options. So stop. We have to stop placing the blame on Errol Spence's front door all the time. We have to place blame on Terrence Crawford front steps. Put that blame on his front steps because at the end of the day, he's the one that's lacking the quality opposition, not Errol Spence. It ain't Errol Spence. Errol Spence can fight Shawn Porter. That was a fight of the year type of fight. That was a fight. It came down to it truly came down to the championship rounds. It truly came down to the championship rounds. He has Danny Garcia. That's no guarantee. We already again you putting yourself in a position where these guys have success against Errol Spence, and then you guys are left saying, oh, see, he got exposed or something. He didn't get exposed. He's in the ring with top-notch opposition. But because you guys are already dismissing the opposition in favor of the only fight you want to see is Terrence Crawford, no, we got to stop putting the carriage before the horse. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop saying, oh, I don't want to see that. All right, so what you want to see then? You want to see Crawford. But Crawford fighting December 14th against Mean Machine. Bob Arum said that, Bob Arum stated that there was no money for fighters like Kell Brook. But you believe that if there's no money for Kell Brook, there's money for Errol Spence? Let that sink in, people. Let that sink in. Then at some point in time, you have to say to yourself, were Bob Arum and Top Rank and ESPN truly putting their best foot forward to make the Errol Spence fight? And then on the flip side of that, Errol Spence comes out and Terrence Crawford comes out and he says, he blames his own promoter. He says it's Bob Arum and Top Rank along with the other politics on the other side. So he blamed his own promoter. Right? He didn't place blame solely. That means there's issues behind the scenes that Terrence Crawford identified with his own promoter. And so this is how I look at it. If you got the issues with your own promoter, then that's the biggest issues, not everybody else. It's not everybody else. It's your promoter. So, you know, we gotta stop, you know, with the, you know, I want to see this. We making excuses. We want to see Terrence Crawford. What do you mean we making excuses? Terrence Crawford has a fight already scheduled. December 14th, Madison Square Garden. He will be fighting Kavakuskas, the Mean Machine. Not Errol Spence. Not Danny Garcia. Would you rather see Terrence Crawford versus Danny Garcia, or Terrence Crawford versus Shawn Porter, or Terrence Crawford versus any of these guys, Mikey Garcia? You much rather see Terrence Crawford versus any one of those guys than the Mean Machine. But yet Errol Spence is giving you the fights against those guys, and yet you're trying to criticize him because you want him to fight Terrence Crawford. No, take that blame and place it on Terrence Crawford's front step, because Terrence Crawford has already blamed his promotional company, which means that Terrence Crawford needs to grab the bull by the horns and force his promotional company to put their best foot forward. And we have to stop saying that, Danny Garcia is a pushover fight for Errol Spence. It's not. That's not. Now Errol Spence is going to be favored to win the fight. Absolutely, Errol Spence is going to be favored to win the fight, but he was favored to win Shawn Porter fight, and we saw how that was. Anthony Joshua was favored to beat Andrew Ruiz, and we saw how that turned out. Mike Tyson was a huge favorite to defeat James Buster Douglas, and we saw how that turned out. So the issue that we have in putting the carriage before the horse in the sport of boxing, especially when it comes to these guys facing top-notch opposition, we got to relax. In my Nori voice, we got to relax, man. We got to relax. Danny Garcia, yeah, Tamari Laurie. Danny Garcia versus Shawn Porter was a tough fight. So what makes you think that Danny Garcia and Errol Spence is going to be just a walk in the park? Oh, this is just another guy Errol Spence is going to mow down. That's what you said about Shawn Porter. And it didn't work out that way. It didn't work out that way. Everybody was already pegging him to knock Shawn Porter out by the 5th round. And it didn't go that way. So relax. And these are names that you want to see. Because guess what? Let's say Errol Spence does fight Terrence Crawford, right? Everybody going to be highly upset, right, Kurt? Everybody going to be highly upset. Errol Spence fights Terrence Crawford, beats Terrence Crawford, and moves up to 54. Then you're going to be saying he ain't clean out the welterweight division.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be saying he never fought Danny Garcia. He never fought this guy. He never rematched Shawn Porter. That's what everybody's going to be screaming. So let him do it. Let him do his due diligence. You am I right, Kurt?
Hey, well said, man. Listen, in boxing, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna segue into what you just said. This Terrence Crawford fought because, listen, Bob Arum doesn't believe in Terrence Crawford, so he's not putting out for Terrence Crawford like Al Heyman and everybody's putting out, with Earl Spence. They believe in Earl Spence being a star. That's all Earl Spence had to do is go over there and beat Kell Brook. Once he became a champion, his momentum took off. His career took off. Now he's on pay-per-view back-to-back and another pay-per-view. Look what he did against Mikey Garcia. Look what he did with Porter. His star is shining bright. Even when he fought with Campo, the building was filled. And it was a great marketing ploy to get Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, one of the most successful franchises in America, if not the world, to side with Earl Spence. Earl Spence came in one fight with a Dallas Cowboy guard bond. That was against Campbell, I believe. So that was very smart. Now with Earl fighting in Dallas Stadium, because if he fights Porter, it should be here. So it's just like a music artist. You need a team behind you to be successful. Manager, A&R, everybody has to be, on one page. And look how Earl's career has gone. And Terrence Crawford is a great fighter, man. Unbelievable skills, man. But you know what I'm saying? Bob Arum doesn't believe in him. He doesn't believe in his fan base. So the only time he believes in him when he had to fight in Omaha, Nebraska. Other than that, Bob just, they don't promote him. They treat him like a redhead stepchild, at the least. So you know, Earl was like, hey, I think the fight is going to happen. I really do, but we just got to be patient because Earl, like I said, Earl has opponents, man. So let's see what happens with Porter. But it's not going to be a walk in the park, these fights, because when you fight at this level and you're fighting B plus fighters and A minus fighters, it's not easy. Maybe you don't have it. You know, maybe you're not as sharp for reasons unknown. You know, you start getting the money. Like Marvin Hagler said, you know, it's hard to run when you're sleeping on silk sheets. Earl got a white Ferrari. Earl is balling. He's getting money. Once you get that pay-per-view money, things change, man, because you're getting back end money, you know, and now he's going to be getting another huge check. Well, it doesn't matter who he fights. He's getting a huge check. Porter Garcia, Crawford, he's gonna break the bank. He's gonna make a lot of money. That fight's gonna make money. But you know, we got to be careful to just be guilty of a fighter going into the ring and be like, you know, he's gonna whitewash this guy and that guy. You know, Terrence Crawford got to be careful of Kavakarkis because one left hook on the chin or one straight right hand he doesn't see on the chin. You know, and Crawford is down for the count. It happened. It happened many times in boxing, man. You know, tremendous upsets, man. You know, I don't gotta go over, you know, but you know, so you can't disregard Danny Garcia as just another opponent, man, because one left hook on his chin, man, and Spence is down, it can happen.
Exactly, man. You know, so we must stop doing that, man. We must acknowledge, you know, what's in front of us. We must acknowledge what's in front of us, man. And listen, Terrence Crawford versus Shawn Porter is not a bad fight either. That's a fight that people would pay to watch. You know, Terrence Crawford versus Danny Garcia, people will pay to watch that. Especially if Danny Garcia was to beat Errol Spence. If Shawn Porter was to beat Errol Spence in a rematch, you're going to pay to watch that. It's just like you're going to pay to watch Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder when everybody wanted to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. So now everybody will pay to see Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz. But nobody thought about Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz being a super fight when it was talked about as as Joshua versus Wilder. So that this fight came out of nowhere, and now everybody wants to see it because of the fashion that he upset Anthony Joshua in. Right, and I forgot about Keith Thurman. I see Vaughn and a couple of people saying Keith Thurman. That's another fight that we wanted to see. Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence. That was the fight talked about before any other fight. Before Keith Thurman lost to Manny Pacquiao, that was the fight. And guess what? Keith Thurman beat Shawn Porter, right? A lot of people feel like he beat Shawn Porter more convincingly than Errol Spence did. So everybody wants to see, but Keith Thurman lost to Manny, and so now we got a special guest get ready. Come on, Kurt. So now, but now everybody wants to see. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second, y'all. Go ahead, Kurt. You could cook.
Yeah, you know, people, like I said, you know, it's hard to knock out people, you know, fighters like Porter and Danny Garcia, you know, because I think sometimes we put too much emphasis on the knockout. You know, it may make Earl even a better fighter because I hate to see a fighter. How many times you seen a fighter have a 15th Street knockout, first or second round, and then the first time he's in a tough fight, he loses? You know, so, you know, a fight that Earl had on Saturday night, it probably make him an even better fighter because now he's looking in the mirror and saying, now I can go 12 tough rounds. That was a grueling fight. That was a throwback fight of the 20s, 30s, and 40s. It kind of reminded me, I've been saying all week, Carmen Basilio and Tony DeMarco, both of these fights, you know, it was the exact same way, ebb and flows and a war of attrition, you know, so, you know, boxing fans won, Porter stock rise, and Spence got another belt. So nobody really lost. I don't believe in moral victories, but in this case, it's different. And we want to see the rematch. And Porter may fight even better. If he fights better, then he's going to beat Spence. I mean, Spence may come in better. He doesn't look. He didn't look as strong as he did. When he was fighting the Van Heridens and the Lartes. So that might be. He said something about nutrition. So, we don't know what to expect. But, when you fight at this level, that's my whole point of my conversation. Expect a gritty, tough, grueling fight where you're going to have to dig down deep, and win the fight. Sometimes, your skills is not enough. It takes heart, grit, intestinal fortitude, moxie, savvy. Floyd didn't look great when he was at 130 pounds. He fought people like Carlos Hernandez. Remember that fight? He broke his hand. And fights like Vittoriano Sosa. Those are tough fights for Floyd, but he got through it. The Castillo fight. The Madonna fight. He's at welterweight then. Same with Sugar Ray Robinson. He fought Carmen Basile. He even lost to him. But he was in a lot of tough fights. Muhammad Ali was. So that's part of boxing. It happened where you're not going to be as sharp, whether it be your opponent's style or maybe his determination. Shawn Porter is a very determined fighter. So that's what I feel about. I'm going to see his blue ready.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. We're going to get him on the line right now. What's going on with you, Coach?
What's up, man? What's happening?
Nothing much. I got my co-host on the other line. His name is Kurt Anderson. You can hear me, Derrick?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. I got my co-host on the other line. His name is Kurt Anderson. I want to introduce you to him.
All right.
You can hear him, Kurt?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah,
that was me by mistake.
Okay. Yeah, so go ahead, Kurt. I want to introduce you to Derrick. He's right there on the line.
Derrick James, what's going on, man? My name is Curtis Anderson. They call me Kurt Sugar. I followed you. You was a super middleweight. So I followed your career. You fought people like Ulysses Boulware and Joe Lipsy. I remember you fought Tyrone Jackson. So I know Bobby pretty well. I've been watching it for 45 years. And one thing people don't talk about you as a very good trainer. You won Trainer of the Year in 2017. You was Ring Magazine's Trainer of the Year and Yahoo Sports Trainer of the Year. And, you have turned Earl Spence into a unified welterweight champion. But we're just glad to have you on the show. Thanks a lot.
No problem, man. You're welcome.
Yeah, so I just want to announce you first. In my opinion, this is the Trainer of the Year because you have two huge victories this year over Shawn Porter and over Mikey Garcia. And I just want to say congratulations on a beautiful victory this past weekend. And just want to introduce you to the people, man. Derrick James, trainer of undefeated, unified welterweight superstar boxer Earl the Truth Spence Jr. Hey,
I appreciate that very much, man.
No, definitely, Derrick. Let me ask you this, Derrick. The fight was a fight of the year, instant classic type of fight. Did you guys expect that type of fight?
Well, we knew that Shawn has a lot of tenacity, man. He's not going to quit. He's not going to give up. So we knew he's rugged and raw. So we expected it. I mean, you see his condition up when he's there. He threw a lot of punches. I don't know how many punches he threw a lot of punches. His condition over there. So yeah, we expected that.
Did he surprise you with anything he did?
No. He trained. He fought the fight when I expected him to fight. He was very rested in time, but I think after the people on each other kind of backing up and moving around, but I mean, he fought the fight that I knew he had to go to fight.
Mm. Now there was a lot of build up to this fight. There was a lot of going back and forth, a lot of jarring and things of that nature. And then we see great sportsmanship when it was all over. And the fight itself was a success. We see the reports are coming out that the pay-per-view numbers are 300 to 350,000 pay-per-view buys at the very least. So the fight was a success overall in the whole. What you think about that?
I'm not mad about it. I think that I love to see how great the editing is. I mean, how the fight, how they promoted the fight. It's phenomenal. I think it's beautiful to see the progress and how celebrities going. How people are buying into him as a fighter. They're buying into it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And I like the fact that a lot of people were stating that because of the Mexican fan base, with the Mikey Garcia fight and the fact that you guys were in your own backyard in Dallas, that's what sold the first pay-per-view. But now it's showing his star power, as people didn't give Shawn Porter any credit to be able to sell anything, but this fight is topping the last fight. So this just goes to show the star power of Errol Spence. Am I correct when I say that, Derrick?
I mean, you're right about that. I mean, there's a narrative out there. How many of you said it? And there's, before, like Mexican Chinese push the pendulum, right? But then in reality, you think about one of the three super Mexican fighters, Yellow Hogan, Canelo, and Chavo.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes you fans, I mean, it's beautiful to get everybody involved with it. You have everybody out there. Whether it's black, Mexican, white, everybody was that shows you some kind of being able to do that, man. It's beautiful to see because you're right. I mean, he sold, like, from 94 Robert East, there was over 8,000 people there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember, in the same venue, he fought for a unified the belt. There were 8,000 people there.
Mm-hmm.
The 94 Robert East.
Right.
So, before Errol was formed into a 48,000 people with Dallas, he tried there, but it's 20,000. I don't know how many people, but so you look at Errol Starkow, it's amazing.
Right. Hey, Coach, your phone is sounding a little bit muffled.
Oh, that's me? Okay, 1 second.
No, not you. Not you, Kurt. It's Coach Derrick.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounded a little bit muffled.
Let me see what I can do because I have my earphones on.
Okay.
So how does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds much better.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so but Errol is I got a lot of slack. I said that with the backing of the Dallas Cowboys, which is the most valued franchise in all of sports, he has that backing behind him. He has the charisma, and he has the fortitude. He wants it. He wants to fight the best out there. He has the style, that's exciting. A lot of people were not always happy with the style Floyd Mayweather presented to the people, but Errol Spence has all the goods, and I feel like Errol Spence is on his way, and he didn't have a handoff. I feel like Canelo Alvarez was the co-feature on many Floyd Mayweather undercards, and in the build-up to Canelo Alvarez facing Floyd Mayweather, so it was like a relay. And Errol didn't have that relay. When you had the biggest star in the sport of boxing giving you a relay, it's like Canelo Alvarez was he had a lot of help. Errol is creating his own path. He's and so I believe that that's the true face of the sport of boxing. Am I right, Derrick?
I never thought about that because that's how you build a young fighter. You build him up by putting him on, just like David Benavidez, right? They're doing the same thing with Benavidez.
Mm-hmm.
But Errol didn't have that. He went straight from being a co-main event right to being main event.
Right.
That's like you put out the and so We didn't really right about that. I think that it's great to see, man, how if everything that happened, you know, I'm a part of it. I mean, it's still beautiful, still amazing. Great time for boxing. He is the top ticket seller in boxing this year, for sure. Because, you know, I mean, Joshua didn't sell out in New York. Canelo Alvarez didn't sell out in Vegas. But Errol sold both times. So, I mean, so he's number one right now.
Right. And I agree, man. I think that, you know, and his style, he has a crowd pleasing style, but he's still a boxer. You know, he's still disciplined. You know, a lot was made of, you know, he said that he didn't use strength and condition, and it was tough for him to lose 25 pounds. He said he don't want to go into camp, you know, having a weight loss camp. Was that an issue in training camp?
No, not at all. When you think about this, so one thing I want to bring up. So if you look at 5 of his last fights, take 6 of his last fights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna tell you something. Each one of those fights, he fought a different style.
Mm-hmm.
He does.
Right.
He fought Leonard Bundle.
Mm-hmm.
He fought who just had fought Chief Thurman. He fought Kell Brook in a different style.
Mm-hmm.
He came back and fought Lamont Peterson in a different style. Then the other guy knocked out, so that didn't count. He fought Mikey Garcia in Mikey Garcia's fight. They said he couldn't fight. Mike Garcia was going to box. So what did he do? He outboxed Mike Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
They said Sean Porter Russell was going to break him. So what did he do? He fought Sean Porter in his own style.
Right.
He out Sean Porter. Just then, so like, there's never been, you think about this, tell me a fighter you can recognize who fought different styles, fight of the style, fight of the fight.
Right. Right.
I'm just asking you.
No, not
how
yeah.
many fighters have you ever seen? Like, was it a rough fight? Was it? There was a lot of that, but he beat him at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
He beat Mikey at what he does. He beat Chad Book at what he does. He beat Lamont Peterson at what he does. So, as I'm saying, tell me,
especially early in his career, being a young fighter faces so many different styles. It's expected when you get up in a certain number and a certain range in your career. But at this point in his gesture in his career, I believe he's gaining experience after experience every fight, because he's just getting. I keep saying this, and I said this in my videos. I continue to say this. You know, Terrence Crawford, you know, allow Errol Spence to catch up to him. You know, when the fight was first talked about, you know, Terrence Crawford seemed to have more experience, but now he's closing the gap on him in so many different ways. He's closing the gap on him in as far as experience, you know, with styles he's facing, and he's surpassing him now at this point in time. It's not even a question in the star status.
Popularity and fame, yeah.
Right. In star status, he's.
So check this out, though. So this is my question. Has Terrence Crawford ever fought anybody as good as Chris Algieri? Remember, Chris Algieri, when he beat Ruslan Bogdanov, who was a murderer, who beat Ken Riley up, right? And he went 12 rounds with Garcia. Now listen, has Terrence Crawford ever fought anybody as good as Chris Algieri? Honestly. All right, now wait, another question. Has Terrence Crawford fought anybody as good as Kell Brook? Has Terrence Crawford fought anybody as good as Lamont Peterson? Has Terrence Crawford fought anybody as good as Mikey Garcia? Has Terrence Crawford fought anybody as good as Sean Porter? I'm just asking the question.
No.
Has he fought anybody as good as who is more accomplished than Chris Algieri? But like I said, Ruslan Bogdanov dropped him twice in the first round, man.
Mm-hmm.
He got up and won in record round. He barked his ass off, remember? And Bogdanov fought somebody right after that. So look, I'm just saying, so I'm saying, has he fought? And listen, I'm not discrediting Terrence Crawford. He's a great boxer, but he has not faced the type of quality opposition that Errol has. I just named 5 or 6 guys that he hadn't fought anyone near that.
Yeah.
Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson. Chris Algieri, and Mike Garcia, Shawn Porter. That's 5 guys.
Mm-hmm. That's top-notch opposition. Top-notch. What you think, Kurt?
And he hasn't taken anybody near that. So why did he have all these claims? So this is my question. So why did he have all these claims, he never faced those type of opposition?
I think it came more so from the fact that he became undisputed at the junior welterweight division.
But he didn't fight somebody that didn't kill Chris Algieri to get those belts. He didn't fight anybody better because these other guys are named. So because he got the belt, so people put more claim on the fact that he won the belt opposed to the opposition that he faced. Look at that, because he won the belt outright. But at the same time, did he ever face any top quality opposition in doing that? We haven't seen any of those guys. We saw a post-star one twice after that. The other guy who won, he finished it up with the African kid in France. He got knocked out by Rich Footwear. So I'm just saying, has he ever faced anybody like those fighters?
I would favor Victor Postol and Gamboa if Algieri was at the lower weight classes at that time. If Algieri was lower, but Mikey Garcia,
so you saying Postol is better than Pavanico? Pavanico was knocking everybody out. He was Triple G before Triple G was Triple G. Remember that now. He was Triple G before Triple G was Triple G. He's knocking everybody out. Everybody out.
That's true. That's true.
And Chris Algieri was just a fight. A guy with this record they put in there and thought he was going to beat.
Yeah.
He needed somebody to go and fight.
Yeah. He was a cherry pick going wrong, huh?
That's what he was. A cherry pick going wrong. So I'm just wondering. So, okay, I'm just asking all those guys, at any point in this split, do you ever fight anybody as good as Mikey, as good as Shawn, as good as Chair?
No.
All right, so
that's why everybody's calling for him to face, and push to face, one of these guys, top welterweights in the division at this point in time. Everybody wants to see ERROL and Terrence, because he's slightly right. But we want to see Terrence versus, one of these, at least Kell Brook, at least face Kell Brook. But you got Bob Arum coming out and stating that, there's no money for those types of fights. And then he says that, Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia are bums, which is utterly ridiculous.
Hey, man, listen, I don't know what that's about. I'm just saying that the fight he could have was with Pacquiao. Why did they never give him Pacquiao?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They don't like that person. Why did they never give him Pacquiao?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I said that, he was under the same banner as Manny Pacquiao for years and couldn't get the fight.
Yeah, right.
And now, it seems like Pacquiao don't mind mixing it up with the guys on this side. But it seems like Manny don't want to really mix it up with ERROL. Do you think that he don't want to really mix it up? I saw Leonard Ellaby, and I asked Leonard Ellaby right before the fight, ERROL win, could we see ERROL and Manny Pacquiao? And Leonard said if he was able to control the fight, he wouldn't let Manny Pacquiao go nowhere near ERROL Spence.
That's right.
Let's
go Manny Pacquiao. I want Errol to fight who we want to fight. You say Manny Pacquiao, we say Manny Pacquiao.
Right.
I don't get into the matchmaking part of the fight. The whole deal.
Yeah, we saw ERROL come out and he stated that yesterday. He said, "You want to run it back?" He told Shawn, "You want to run it back? Let's do it. I'm a shark. It's strap season." What would you how would you guys prepare if you would do anything different for Shawn Porter in the rematch? What would be the difference you guys would make? What adjustments would you make without giving too much away?
Hey man, I can't give nothing away. I mean, but at the same time, it's not gonna happen. But if it did, if it would happen, we would do a couple things a little different, more something, less than something else, And I can't get into it. Probability. Because they even in the first time they just said they want to fight me. They said that. What he said? He said, we won all the rematches, but I wish Errol was well in his next fight. Something like that. So, I mean, there's no need for a rematch, to be honest with you. It is what it is, man. It's what we want to do.
Yeah, a lot of people are calling for a rematch because it was such an exciting fight, but you don't think it was a need for it?
I know my shoulders still out of whack. I'm holding this for Errol. Okay, I know what Shawn made him go down. He got. When you go back and watch the fight, he got stood up a whole lot of time. He got caught in the spot. He didn't even know a lot of horsepower. And when you get his legs right down locked up his body, he got bopped a lot of times. I got riding up a lot of times. And when he didn't fall, but he kind of legs locked up, knees locked up. And there's no need to go through that, man. It's entertainment. And what are you trying to prove, man? I wouldn't if I was him.
So you say it's more of a you said the rematch ain't gonna happen, so it's more of a possibility that the Danny Garcia fight is a go, more so than a rematch.
Oh, I don't know about that either. I'm just a little low life. I'm on the bottom of the rack, man. I don't know nothing about that. I just hear about it, They tell me what to go with and we go with the play. Quarterback call a play, and we go in, we run it. I mean, yeah.
Hey, Kurt, you got anything for Coach?
Yeah, Derrick James. I pay attention to close detail, not only the fighter but the trainer. You and Earl seem to have a great mutual respect for each other out of the ring. I watched the fight camp documentaries and all that. And boxing history shows us, like Ali Dundee, Leonard Dundee, when you have a trainer and fighter that have a close relationship out the ring, it shows in the ring. So how you would say you and Earl relationship out of the ring?
That's good, man. We get along really well, man. It's cool. We do a lot of stuff together. We go shopping together. You know what I mean? We do a lot of stuff. So and we don't see each other at times. We want to go shopping. We always go shopping together. We do stuff together.
Okay. And another question I want to ask: during the Porter fight, was there things you see that you didn't like and the things you like? If so, can you tell us about it?
I saw some things I didn't like, but I don't want to. I saw some things that I did like. Put like this. You can't. The one big thing about Shawn Porter is I think he's a rough-working fighter. He's gonna bully. He's gonna bully so strong. But Errol was like the bullier guy. So it's like you can't out Shawn Porter, because he's just that tough. The tenacity, he comes so vicious, he comes like real. He's kind of something that you saw. Also, you do some good stuff, man. And if and the thing a lot of people say, if you take on and say, I'm going to go fight you, you don't stand right there and fight him, then you're going to get hit a couple times. It's his life. It is boxing. He is another guy. All punches also. So, he's going to have punches. That's what it's about. Not that I like him to get hit at all, but, he rolled with a lot of punches, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah, is it true early in Earl Spence's career that Oscar De La Hoya, there was rumors that he wanted Earl and Miguel Cotto, but he said that Earl had to fight sign an extension with Golden Boy because he expressed a lot of interest in Earl. And he said Earl was going to be a superstar. He predicted that before anybody. He said he's going to be a superstar in boxing, and he was right. So was it true that Oscar wanted Earl early in his career?
I mean, I saw, I read something, saying that he wanted him to try to fight Cotto or something, I saw that. I mean, I read it somewhere. But he saw it. I mean, it wasn't, he believed in it. I mean, but I don't believe in it. I may not verbalize it to the world, but I mean, he truly stocked, getting else Spence. So, I think, I mean, Get Away was the first one to come out verbally and say it. But then, Howard David told me, Tim Cass, so wait a minute. So like, a lot of people believed when they saw the Oscar said, but Oscar was the first one to come on the stage.
Yeah, and then you got Freddie Roach is a big advocate of Errol Spence, man. He believes Errol Spence. Yeah, he believes he's the goods. Now the fight, we saw it rough and rugged. Was that Errol's choice, or was that Shawn Porter's style? Shawn Porter forced him to fight that style, or did Errol choose to stand in the pocket?
He chose to do that. That was his choice, man. That was his choice. It was a choice he knew he made. He tried to shoot shots in the middle, and let Shawn control all the outside punch, the wider shot. And we control all the middle shot. I mean, that's kind of what happened. The only way you're going to do that, you got to be right there in front of him. You got to be right there. So when he goes wide, you just control the middle. And that's what a body shot thing is. That's what you think it's like on the 4th or 5th round, you start to slow down a little bit. His leg slow down a little bit.
Now we see Errol said that if he can't get Bud Crawford, he want to move up to 54. And I've heard Kenny say that he's a natural 54, and other people say that he's fighting a weight class below his natural weight. Is that true? Is he truly fighting on a weight class below his weight, or is he just a? I know me and you talked about this before, but I just want to go over it again. Or is he just a natural welterweight? In today's era, we have a lot of guys blowing up to welterweight because that's the glamour division.
He's a natural welterweight, man. But he's a guy who's right there in the hand for 152. So I mean, he moved down to 147. So it's like 5 pounds north of what he fought in, man. You know what I mean? He's the right size for the weight division. The post already have 5'6", 5'7". Those shorter guys, small guys, they're level 5'9". They're level 6'1". When the force 6'1". I mean, he's running and Tranier was really tall and considered a big fighter. Paul Williams, big guy. The hell was like 5'9". He's bigger than all the other guys because they're fighting at the wrong weight class.
And we see Errol next to Jamel Charlo, and Jamel is your fighter as well. And but they're twins, but Jamal is obviously bigger than Jamel. And when you see Errol next to Jamel, Jamel is bigger than Errol, and he's a 54-pounder. So
those are big guys, but they're pretty big guys, man.
Right.
Jamal pretty decent size guy.
And speaking of which, that's another big fight. Jamel Charlo was your fight against Tony Harrison. Are there any big adjustments you're gonna make for that fight, or is business as usual?
I mean, we don't do the same thing with some other things, you never get that second chance to do it right. But this time we get a second opportunity to do what you did the first time. Because I feel like we won the first time. I don't think that, I didn't think we won the first fight. But I think that this one, it's a little different.
And we see there's been that obviously Jamel was an upset. What you make of Julian J. Rock Williams after he defeated Swift Jarrett Hurd, and Hurd decided not to go ahead with the immediate rematch. You know, what's your thoughts on? And we already know Jamal Charlo defeated Julian J. Rob Williams, and now he's calling for Jamel Charlo. You know, not putting the carriage before the horse, so to speak. But you guys get past Tony Harrison. You know, what kind of stylistically, how do you see that matchup between Jamel and Julian Williams?
I think it's a really good fight. I think that J-Rock is a really good fighter. So, and I think he's gotten better since he lost to Jamal. So I think it'd be pretty interesting.
Kurt, you got something for him, Kurt?
Absolutely. I'm interested in Jamel Charlo rematch with Tony Harrison. He said he had a sprained ankle. You know, there's been speculation he wasn't ready. I opt for the fight with Charlo, but you know, I just get this feeling, Derrick James, man, that they just want certain fighters to lose, man, because I thought that was a very weird decision, man. I was sitting eating a big plate of food and like to throw it up, man, when they said Tony Harrison was the winner, man. I just thought it was the wrong decision. But, you know, Charlo is very athletic, very skilled. You know, I just want him to, you know, throw more fluid combinations because I think he can get Harrison out of there. So I'm just looking for the rematch. And, you know, you can answer this question. Do you have any young fighters on the horizon on your stable?
Yeah, we got to see a boy Woods. He just fought on Arizona, but he got the first fight of the night in LA on the undercard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And another question, what do you think about Jaron Ennis or the prospects that's coming up in boxing today, if you saw them or not?
Well, I don't watch a lot of boxing, man. I only watch boxing. I only watch the fighters you don't fight. And I only watch them and they say okay as a result. I go for the big fights, but I don't really watch a lot of boxing. It's like nowadays, I don't think you work on with it. Things. But I think I used to watch more boxing. Once I got so deep and heavily involved in it, I don't watch a lot of boxing.
It's funny, Derrick James, because yesterday I interviewed Chris Bird, and I followed your career, but I was shocked when he said you guys fought as amateurs. He said you guys fought as amateurs. I was surprised.
Yeah, he's from the really tough.
Oh, okay.
Oh, boy. Yeah. From the 92 Olympic trials, yeah.
Now let me ask you this. What issues would you see Terrence Crawford presenting to Errol Spence?
Well, he's a very athletic fighter. I mean, you know, everything's a hypothetical. He's never had a full pressure on him.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know how he can, what he can do. He's a very athletic. He's a fast hand, very elusive. So I mean, but you never seen full court press. So you don't know what he's saying or can't do, or what he's saying or can't take. You know, so you never know.
Right. Now, obviously, there's another big fight, December 7th. Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz. How you see that fight playing out, Coach?
I think he's going to play like the first time. If Garcia doesn't realize what happened to him in the first fight, then what happened is they train him the way he wants to be trained at his own pace. And he's in phenomenal shape to fight at the pace he wants to fight. But what Louis did is made him fight at his pace. If they don't acknowledge that, something's going to happen. You know, they'll knock him out. If you got tired, one of you has a fear of getting fatigued. Like, because they got pushed just a little bit harder than the customer going. And he couldn't take it.
Mm-hmm. That fatigue.
That's really what happened.
Mm-hmm.
A fatigue thing, man. Fatigue makes cowards of many men.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Hey, Kurt, any last questions before we let him get out of here? Because I know he got to get back to his family life.
Yeah, Derrick James, I look at boxing like a neurosurgeon, and a lot of people don't give Earl this credit right here. When he fought Mikey Garcia, he boxed. when he fought Shawn Porter, it was a throwback to the 30s and 40s. It was a Henry Armstrong type of fight, you know, and he don't get credit for that. He fought two contrasting styles against A-level competition, and nobody talked about that. But see, that goes to show you, you know, that's good training right there. And like I said, you're doing a good job, man. And thank you for being on the show. And you know, we'll see you later. Keep knocking them out.
You got it, Derrick. So we got that's arguably or the trainer of the year, Derrick James, trainer, undefeated, unified welterweight superstar boxer, ERROL the True Spence Jr. Hey, Derrick.
You know what I want to say to you, boy, to the man or your partner? Right, that's the point I made earlier. He even fought this different, he fought Lamar Peterson different. And he fought Michael different, and he fought Shawn different. So what I was saying is that you never seen a guy on this level fight this four different styles against four different guys. Every one of these guys, he fought a different type of fight. That's the point I made. Every one of those guys, he fought a different type of fight. So you only validated the exact point that I made earlier. He has the ability to fight several styles that you never seen in an elite fighter or any kind of fighter. Fight four different types of fights. And beat those fighters at the fight that they fight. The style that they fight. He beat those guys with their own style.
That's what I said. That's what I said. You know,
I know that's the point you're making. Right.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, Terrence Crawford, I feel like he missed his window. He's missing his window of opportunity to be able to be successful against ERROL due to the fact that he's letting him garner experience for so many different styles. He's been in there with a boxer and Mikey Garcia, a counterpuncher, who's a superstar. He's been in there, and again, I like to say this, Derrick, as well. You know, I don't let people use the argument that Mikey Garcia came up 2 weight classes. No, he came up 1 weight class because 3 out of his last 5 fights were at 140, and he was a champion at 140. So he came up 1 weight class. So that's not an excuse, right? He moved up 1 weight class, and nobody gave Floyd Mayweather an excuse when he fought Juan Manuel Marquez. So, you know, that's not an excuse, you know. And he got that experience, and then he been in the style now with Shawn Porter, you know, a rough, rugged fighter. He went into a hostile environment over with Kell Brook. You know, he's been in there with a slick boxer, like you said, in Chris Algieri. You know, he's been in there with a pressure fighter and a calculator fighter in Lamar Peterson. So he's just continuously gaining experience by more experience and experience, and you know, and his star power is just going through the roof. If he able to secure a fight with Manny Pacquiao in the fight that I'm going to favor him to win, you know, and obviously the powers that be feel like he's going to win that fight. Like Leonard Ellaby stated, he would keep Manny Pacquiao far away from Errol Spence as possible. Bob Arum said that, you know, he would never make that fight with Errol and Manny Pacquiao because he says that Manny has a family and you just don't do that to guys. So, you know, it's clear that people, you know, how people feel with Errol and Manny. And that's another style, you know, if he was to secure that type of fight, or even Danny Garcia, you know, he's just gaining more and more experience, you know. So, you know, it's still a fight that I want to see, but I believe that Terrence Crawford is allowing it to slip away, you know, with his decision to stay over with Top Rank and ESPN, so on and so forth, you know. So, but yeah, Derrick, I know you got to get back, and I know you're busy. I appreciate you coming on, man. I can't thank you enough. Trainer, I believe you're the trainer of the year with these 2 victories, man. So, you know, I appreciate you, and congratulations again on your big victory and future endeavors, that Derrick.
Thank you, appreciate that, bro. Good talking to you.
All right, I'll be in contact with you. All right.
All right, no doubt.
All right.
See you later.
Yeah.
So, what you think about that, Kurt?
Excellent interview, man. The questions was great, man. You know, hey, man, we doing big things, man. Derrick James was talkative, man, and you know, hey, folks, we got some more surprises in the near future. This is just the beginning. Great job, Blue. Great questions, man.
I appreciate it, man. Great questions on your part, man. You know, his phone was a little muffled. I already knew he was en route, so he actually pulled over to talk to us. So I was going back and forth with him because he was with his family, and that's why he had his headset in. And you know, so he actually pulled over to take the headset out so that we could hear him a little clear. But he was sounding a little muffled because of the headset, you know. So he gave us his time, man. I appreciate Derrick James for doing so, man. And this is just one of many, man. We're gonna have even more content coming, man. Even more people, man. So we're gonna open up the phone lines now, so you guys could call in and give your opinion, what you thought, you know. So that's where we're gonna go with it now. We're gonna open up the phone lines and let you guys call in, man, and let us know what you think, what's your thoughts on the interview and Derrick James. And one thing I was surprised, Kurt, he said, I think he might have let it slip. He said that ain't happening, the rematch.
Yeah, I know. I caught that quick.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, he said that ain't happening. So, you know, but you know, we got a caller. We got a caller already. Let's see. Let's get disconnected. Yeah, I think he might have let that slip. But what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, yo, you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, yo, this H Money. Nigga, you a bitch. Nigga, you let Anthony Joshua security dump water on you, and you didn't do shit. 50 years old, nigga.
Goodbye.
Wow.
Man, you can't make this up, man. This dude said, I'm 50 years old. 50 years old, he said. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, man? This Pool County Boston calling from Dallas.
My brother, what's good with you? Salute to Dallas, man.
Salute.
Nothing much, man. Great interview, Kurt. A great
Thanks
interview,
a lot.
Blue.
Salute,
yes, sir,
salute.
That was on point.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I was just wishing he could have got more into, why Earl didn't use his double jab. You know, just some certain tools we usually seen him use in his past fights. And, you know, man, I text you over the net to ask them certain questions, but I guess you guys, you know, you was in the moment. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to see why he didn't do certain things, you know, in that fight. I guess, you know, when you're in the moment and you fighting like that, you know, you ain't got time for all that.
Yeah, man. You know, wait, say it again. Repeat it. I'm trying to block these trolls, man.
Yeah, I just wanted to like, you know, ask him some questions about why Earl didn't use certain, you know, techniques we've seen him use. You know, he did do that defensive technique where he used his arm to hold his head in place.
Right.
And dropped him. I seen him do that against Chris Algieri. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't use certain other things we've seen him do. And I was just like, I wanted to ask Derrick, like, what was the double jab? You know what I'm saying? Because Porter was like tagging him with that jab he had. And Porter was like hitting him, man. And I was like, wow. Like, you know, Earl ain't doubling up from the jab. You know, just certain things we know he can do, he didn't do. I was wondering what was the cause? Was he always trying to make it a dog fight?
Me personally, I feel like Sean Porter's style forces you to adapt to his style and adapt to what he does. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think that, you know, because he makes it such a dog fight like Marcos Maidana used to do, you know, no matter how much you try to box him, you know, you end up having to fight his fight. And I believe that, you know, I know Derrick said that you know, that was part of the game plan, and I believe that was part of the game plan due to the fact that, you know, Sean Porter's not going to let you fight cleanly. You know, he's not going to let you fight. You know, so you know, you're going to have to fight him in the pocket. You're going to have to sit down. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know, I believe that, you know, he just forces you to fight that fight. So I believe that, you know, a lot of things you have to eliminate, you know what I mean, that you normally would do going into a fight, you know, that's just not going to happen, you know. So when you look at Floyd Mayweather, the first fight, you know, with Madonna and Castillo, you know, some things just force you to fight their fight. You know what I mean? Some nights you just gonna have to sit in the pocket. They just gonna be relentless. They're gonna keep coming, and they force you to fight their fight. And I feel like, you know, every fight that we see Sean Porter in, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, you know, Danny Garcia, you know, he surprised us with Garcia and Ugas, you know, but for the most part, you know, these dudes force you. When you get guys like Madonna and Porter and even Mike Tyson, you know what I mean? Guys wanted to box Mike Tyson, but guess what? He ran into somebody similar to him and Evander Holyfield that forced him to fight his fight. What you think, Kurt?
You know what? That's a very interesting point. But I want to say Sean Porter is the type of fighter that fights to the level of competition, not because he's an inconsistent fighter. It's because it's a different energy, and people don't understand when you fight in A-level competition, it's a different energy. Look at his fight against you guys and Granados, and look at his fight against Thurman, Garcia, and Spence. Different Sean Porter.
I think that's why I said, Kurt. You know, he surprised us with his fight against Ugas and Danny Garcia, and I think that was due to the fact that, you know, he felt like, you know, he could outbox them. You know, he didn't have to fight them on the inside. You know, he didn't have to be pressure fight. He didn't have to, because he's at a disadvantage size wise. You know what I mean? So, due to the fact that he has a disadvantage size wise, I think that he puts a lot of pressure on his fighters to close the distance. So that gives him a better chance, because he just can't box him on the outside. He's just his stature won't allow it. You know what I mean? And so I think that plays a huge part. You know, when Mike Tyson was a heavyweight, obviously, and he was short in stature, you know, and he was dealing with giants. So his style was to get underneath, to get in their chest, you know, and fight in close. And the phone booth, that gives him his best opportunity to win. And I think that's the same goes for Sean Porter. But hey, listen, we're gonna have to get to the next caller, man. I appreciate you, bro.
No problem.
No doubt.
All right, look.
All right, brother.
All right, Kurt.
All right, salute, my brother.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
Chris Brown, 45, calling out of Dallas, Texas. Shout out to Cassie. You know what it is, bro.
Yes, sir. Salute to my brother Chris Brown, 45, man. What's good with you, bro?
Nothing much. Just trying to see what you and Mr. Anderson had going on, man, and what y'all think about that rematch between Porter and Spence if it happened. Do you think that Bud would get the Garcia fight if it does?
Well, from what Derrick James just let slip out, he said that it ain't happening, you know. But if Errol said let's run it back, Sean said he wanted, you know, and I think, me personally, I think that, you know, if they do run it back, the immediate rematch, I definitely feel like Terrence Crawford needs to push for the Danny Garcia fight, you know, because or the Ugas fight, you know, we don't want, like Kurt said earlier, you know, they're gonna try to bring up Jose Ramirez, or they're gonna try to, you know, bring up Regis Prograis, because they are under the top ranked ESPN banner and it's easy to make. But at the end of the day, we don't want to see that, man. You know, so I feel like, you know, he needs to push for the big names at welterweight, because if they allow him to go ahead and fight Jose Ramirez, or he goes and fights, you know, Regis Prograis, which people don't mind those types of fights. But again, what are you accomplishing at welterweight? Because they're not welterweight. So it's still the same outcome. What you think, Kurt?
Yeah, I don't listen. I said this last year. Porter Spence surprised me. Great fight. Spence and Garcia will be a good fight. That's good, but the main fight, the varsity fight of the division, of course, is Crawford and Spence. They got to make it happen. I don't want to see Crawford. Crawford and Prograis is a nice little fight, but I want to see Crawford mix it up with the PBC fighters, man. This is getting on my nerves, man, because it's robbing us of a golden era. If Crawford was fighting these guys, we would have a platinum era. We already have a golden era, man. He has, for legacy, he has to mix it up with those guys, man. He's gonna have to bomb himself out like Floyd did or whatever, man. Or I don't know his stipulation of his contract, man. But it's just messing everything up, man. Because we being robbed as boxing fan. I don't want to see him fight Cavalcaucus and Ramirez and all them guys in top rank, man. He's a man without an island, man. They're gonna have to come to a conclusion where they're gonna have to work something out, man. And Crawford got to start fighting A-level competition because Spence doing all the heavy lifting.
But question to both you guys: do you think that's something that's just coming from Crawford, or do you think that that's coming from Bob Arum, that he's fighting the level of competition that he's fighting?
Well, I'm personally gonna have to blame Terrence Crawford because you gotta take the bull by the horns and control your situation, right? So I gotta say Terrence Crawford, and then Terrence Crawford admitted that he says, "Oh well, I blame my promoter, Top Ring. I blame Bob Arum." Oh well, that's what you don't get into nobody else anymore. Once you say you blame your promoter, you blame Bob Arum. And the company and the banner that you under, well, that's where you don't get to go to and I blame the other side as well. No, you got to blame if that means if you blame him your promotional company and your promoter Bob Arum and your promotional company, that means they ain't putting their best foot forward to come to an agreement with the other side. So you can't begin to blame the other. How could you blame the other side? No, you know what I'm saying?
So how long was his contract even for that he re-signed with Top Rank?
You know what? I'm not even sure because there's reports coming out that his contract was almost up. So I'm not truly sure what the actual contract was because. Go ahead, Kurt.
I heard 2 more fights. That's the rumors. I'm gonna try to get more information because it's close. It's closed. It seems like nobody knows, but
yeah, I heard the same thing.
I blame Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford can be vocal when he wants to. A lot of people didn't catch this. After he knocked out Benavidez, look at the end of the fight. But Aaron went to Crawford and says, "Go over there and shake his hand." And Crawford said, "Heck no." And Bob Arum shrugged his shoulders like, "Okay." So I caught that. So I was like, he can be vocal when he wants to. But see, the thing with Terrence Crawford is he's number 1 pound for pound. He knows that. So he's trying to ride off and, he trying to give himself leverage by saying, listen, I'm the world's best fighter. But he doesn't realize that Earl's start is shining because everything Earl is doing is right and leaving him further and further behind. So he has to be like, listen, I got to put my pride aside and be like, I'm going to be the B side. You know what I mean? So I got to make this fight happen, end of my contract or a buyout or just tell any fight can be made. Listen, Trinidad De La Hoya was even a worse situation than this. You talk about Bob Arum and Don King in the same room negotiating. If that fight could be made, Crawford and Spence could be made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I feel like Crawford, he did become pound for pound at the 140 division, but I think Earl took that by getting the other belt with that tough fight between Sean because I'm the biggest Terrence Crawford fan that it is out there, and TJ has always been my number 2 welterweight. But after that fight, that pushed TJ to number 1 because it's almost like Terrence is not really trying to push for the fight because if he really felt that he could beat Earl, he would take the 60-40. I mean, at least I would.
Mm-hmm. We're going to have to get to the next caller, man. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. I'll catch y'all later, man.
Yes, sir.
Great job you guys doing.
Appreciate you.
Salute.
Yeah, I just feel like, Terrence Crawford is just not putting his best foot forward, man. We got another caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Rocco 3.
Rocco 3. What's shaking? What's shaking with you?
What's up, man? Hey, great show, guys. Great show. I got one question, but I couldn't really hear it. What was Derrick James saying the reason for not wanting to do the rematch with Shawn Porter?
He was saying that he pretty much said that, he was beating Shawn Porter up on the inside. He said that he hurt Shawn Porter numerous of times, and he feel like that Errol won decisively. So he truly didn't see a reason for a rematch.
Okay. Well, that's all I wanted, man. Hey, Blue, you doing your thing. Kurt, you doing your thing. Hey, man, much love from Memphis, Tennessee, bro. Y'all keep doing what y'all do, bro.
Appreciate it. Shouts out to Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee, the home of Tommy Earns.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Salute to you. Salute to you, bro.
Salute.
Yeah, he let that one slip out, huh, Kurt?
Yeah, he did.
Yep. We got another caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
DJ Black Charm calling out of the left.
DJ Black Charm in the building, in the ATL. What's good with you, bro?
Man, shout out to you, like your new channel, man. A lot of the callers were saying a lot of the stuff I was thinking, but I wanted to chime in on the business, like the business of what Errol Spence is doing. He got 4 people. He got Danny, he got Keith, he got Rufus, and he got Vargas. Those are checks for that brother. You know what I'm saying? Now, we do all want to see him fight Terrence Crawford, but at the same time, me myself personally, I want to see him succeed and getting those milestones, some of those milestones like Floyd got, as far as being able to, like, put it like this: him and Terrence Crawford fight, somebody got to be famous enough to get $100 million cash out, and right now they ain't on that level. Neither one of them. You know what I'm saying? They still got work to do. Like, you see, Derrick James, he already put it out there that Spence is not going to rematch Shawn Porter. If it was Floyd Mayweather called out who he wanted to rematch and fight or whatever, and Bud don't have none of those kind of options. Bud can't even make the option to go to pay-per-view. So, I feel like they still both are growing. We all want to see them fight, but I still, in my opinion, I still think it's premature. But you can speak on that.
What you think, Kurt?
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
Repeat your question for Kurt.
I said Bud and Spence still they deserve to have $100 million payout like Floyd Mayweather was doing, because they just as good as boxers, in my opinion. But I also feel like they have more work to do, because they ain't on that level yet for their pay-per-view fights to generate that much money. I still say they got more work to do, and their fight, in my opinion, is still premature.
Respectfully, thanks for your call. Disagree, because it ain't gonna get no bigger, man. You got to stop marinating fights. When you talk about Leonard Hearns, that was just a special fight. It was a special time. It was a golden era. Crawford and Spence is going to do what it's due, meaning that this is the biggest it's going to get. I'm afraid one of them might lose, and if one of them lose, man, that's it, man. The luster is going to be gone. I mean, look at Joshua Wilder, and like you said earlier, the Herd and Charlo, man. I was looking forward to those fights, and it happened. You know what I'm saying? So they have to fight 2020 in the summertime, man. That's the right.
I feel you, Miss Kirk, on that. But what I'm saying is like this: those networks, you got PBC and you got ESPN or Top Rank for that matter. So those 2 networks have to do their business. That's one. They got to do their bidding, and then of course we know Bud and Spence got to do their own bid, and so you got so many people that's sitting at this table, to say that it's gonna go right. Just throw them in the ring because they both can fight. I think it's premature, and some people will be left out. You know what I'm saying? Just because we as fans want to see them fight right now.
But you got to jump on the fight, because Terrence Crawford is 31-32. I mean, Earl is younger, but it ain't gonna get no bigger. You got to remember something. When super fights are made, there's usually one guy that's a global icon, like Tyson Holyfield, Ali Frazier, Leonard Hearns. Those De La Hoya, Trinidad De La Hoya had the female fan base. So you have when you have a potential huge fight, and this is past potential. It's a huge fight. You got 2 undefeated champions in the same division in the prime of their careers. You got to strike while the iron is hot.
I feel you on that. I got one more, then I'm out. So, and with you saying that, do you think Mayweather Pacquiao was they waited too long to do that?
Way too long. So was Tyson Holyfield. They supposed to fought in 91. They fought, 96, 97. You know, and Mayweather and Pacquiao should have fought in like 2009.
Yeah.
Word up. Okay, peace, y'all. Like y'all new channel too, man. Make me a mod, boo.
Appreciate you. Now, I for this, it's the format, man. I don't see moderators or nothing on my side, so I can't see who is. I don't have the option to make you guys mods, so you know. It's,
okay, I like the new channel though. I'm sticking.
I appreciate you.
All right,
all right. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Blue Brother? This is James from Dubai.
What's shaking with you, bro?
Not much, man. Appreciate what y'all doing, man. Appreciate what y'all doing.
No doubt. Appreciate you, man.
My thing is, man, nobody appreciating what y'all doing, but man, I think he's doing good. He fighting these fighters at their game and beating them.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
He beating them at their game. He boxed Mikey and fought your boy. So I don't see what's the problem. They just not giving him his props because he ain't knocking them out. But he beating them at their own game. Now, if he fight Danny, which is, they claim he's a puncher, and he beat him, so that means he done fought a boxer, a brawler, and a puncher. When will they start giving him his props? Because right now, Crawford ain't did nothing at 147 to even deserve a fight. He beat a Jeff Horn. Who was that? Because I never know who Jeff Horn was before Pacquiao.
And you know the problem with Errol Spence right now is that so many people were discrediting Shawn Porter, and so they're missing the fact that he beat Shawn Porter at Shawn Porter's game because Shawn Porter forced him to fight his fight. Nobody wants to fight that type of dog fight, right?
Yeah.
Outside of Shawn Porter, right? Because he knows his disadvantages. So because he was being so discredited and people just was so high on him, on Errol just Mac trucking him, that they missing out on the ability that Errol Spence possessed and showed us. He showed us that he could fight Shawn Porter's fight and be successful. But because so many people were saying that Shawn Porter wasn't good, Shawn Porter's not good, Shawn Porter's a bum, and Shawn Porter can't do this, and Shawn Porter can't do that, and Errol gonna knock him out in 5. He's had success. So in doing so and discrediting Shawn Porter, by default, you're just discrediting Errol Spence. So that's why Errol Spence is not getting the praise he should get for fighting another fighter's fight. It's just like when Floyd Mayweather fought Miguel Cotto's fight. He fought Marcos Maidana's fight. He fought Castillo fight. Man, he didn't get the credit for it because people just didn't like Floyd Mayweather. But in this case, people just discredit the opposition so much that, you know, Errol by default is getting discredited. What you think, Kurt? Am I right?
Absolutely, man. You know, when a fight seems like when certain fighters have a lot of momentum, you know, they raise the bar on them, man, to the point where, you know, it's almost, you know, they can't really live up to expectations.
It's unrealistic.
That's on the Earl. You know, Earl was impressive Saturday. He was impressive against Mikey Garcia. Before the Garcia fight, he knocked out 12 straight opponents. Then they say he couldn't box. Mikey Garcia said he couldn't box. So what he do? He go in there and box. And then they say, oh, he was 2 weight classes below, which is a lie. Because Mikey Garcia, I believe, fought 3 times at 140.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then he go in there and say he struggled with Porter. Porter, a 2-time world champion, an elite fighter, an A+ fighter. He fought the other guy fight and won. You know, and there's still problems. So whatever Earl do, man, they never satisfied, man. If Deontay Wilder go in there and go 12 rounds with Luis Ortiz, they're gonna be like he's slipping or whatever. You can't win for losing, man.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, I think it just they want to discredit the champion so bad to where they don't appreciate the skills and the technique. Because I went back and I looked at the Shawn Porter fights. Well, Brooke, Thurman, Danny. Guess what? He makes them fight his fight.
Mm-hmm.
He don't fight nobody else's fight.
Mm-hmm.
He makes you fight his fight.
Right.
And matter of fact, and I looked at the scorecards and the points, none of them fighters landed as many power blows and Spence. So that got, I mean, even though Spence took a lot, but he gave out a lot. And out the 3 opponents that he fought, Spence landed the most power shots. So I'm saying, well, how did he did not look that good when Thurman fought, fight, and Brooke fought, quarter fight, Danny fought, quarter fight, and all of them looked at the exact same. So
actually,
they should not say Porter ain't no top-notch fighter, because he is. It just, Spence was just a little bit better that night.
We're gonna have to get to the next call, my bro. But
all right.
Appreciate you, man. And actually,
all right, thank you, man.
No doubt. And actually, when you look at it, right, Kell Brook, he did a lot of excessive holding because he couldn't deal with the pressure that Sean Porter was putting on. So he did a lot of excessive holding in that fight, man. You know, so let's get to it. Got another caller, man. What's your name? Where you calling from? I know this number.
Jay Brown. What's happening with your capo?
What's shaking with your Jay Brown?
I had to call in, man. You know, all this busting, you know, talk, man. I just want to say one thing, you know, we're doing a great disservice to both fighters by us going back and forth with this nonsense about who's not making a fight, this guy not making a fight, this guy doing this guy not doing that. How about this, fans of Spence and Bud? How about you want this fight to happen, right? Let's put our differences aside. Let's campaign on these guys' Instagrams or whatever pages they got, saying that we are not going to support nothing else they do except fight one another. Now, after Bud gets done with Green Beans and Spence gets possibly a rematch with Sean Porter, that fight can happen in January, and Bud can do this fight in December with Green Beans. And after those 2 fights are done, we should be campaigning on both of their pages to fight one another. And if they don't do it, then we can let them have it after that. But as of right now, all this back and forth is just it's not going to make this fight happen. We're going to continue to get all this nonsense over Spence is school. Well, if he's school, then why aren't you trying to make the fight? Let's make the fight. I'm tired of hearing him saying he's school, he's easy, blah, 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 light touches. He's saying he don't want to fight Sean. You know, you got to fight an elite fighter at some point. I don't care who you are. Because Spence is sharpening his skills. No matter if you think Bud can beat him, he's fighting elite competition. And that says something to somebody who can make adjustments going forward. So the more you continue to take light touches, you're going to continue to be a gold blade at the end of the day if you're not fighting equal or competent level competition. And that's one thing that Bud fans need to understand. He needs some tough fights. I don't care how great you are. You get comfortable and complacent, you're going to get washed at this level. So I do believe it's a 50-50 fight when they get in the ring. I just want to see it. I'm tired of the talk, man. Let's campaign. Let's go at both these brothers to make sure this fight happens. Because they have to understand this is a fight that we all want. And if we keep going back and forth, it ain't going to happen. It's going to be another scenario like Pacquiao and Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? And Bud will end up looking like Timothy Bradley over there at top point, where he's not fighting nobody but Rome's over there at top point. Is that what you want? Is that what you want, Bud fans? Think about it. Is that what you want? Instead of knocking Spence and what he's doing at this level, you need to be more concerned about making sure Bud is getting the fight he wants. He needs to get for his legacy. That's what you should be campaigning for, Bud fans. That's all I got to say.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you calling in, my brother.
Salute.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with him, man. You know, like we gotta push for these. You know, we gotta campaign, man. We gotta campaign for Terrence Crawford to grab the bull by the horns. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
We got another caller that I missed the call, so I'm gonna call him back. But Terrence Crawford gotta grab the bull by the horns. You know what I mean? He gotta push for it. He's being too laid back, and he's sitting back and he's saying, well, you know, it's up to this promoter. Well, if this fight don't come to fruition, you know, I don't mind, and so on and so forth. You know, so it's not good, man. Got another call.
You got to show more fervor, man.
Exactly. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Little boy, South D-Town. What's up with
The bro, Barton South D-Town in the building. What's shaking?
Listen, man, that was an awesome interview. You and Kirk, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I just want to say this about the Crawford fight. I mean, Crawford, not Crawford, but Errol Spence and Shawn Porter. I kind of disagree with Derrick James. I don't think they knew what Shawn can do, but they had plan A, plan B, and C seemed like to me. Because if you watch the Kell Brook fight, Errol Spence, Kell Brook, Errol Spence was throwing a jab, and Kell Brook was kept countering Errol Spence's jab.
Mm-hmm.
And Shawn Porter was doing the same thing. But when he countered, he just came in with more punches other than that one counter. So Errol went to plan B. His signature punch when he stepped back and didn't catch it, Shawn was countering that too. So Errol was forced to go to plan C. Instead, plan C was to cut the ring off. And when he got him in the corner, Shawn had a plan for that. Because he was when Smith threw his punch, while Errol Spence's arm was out, it was pivoting and trading places with Smith. So Spence knew that was the fight he was gonna have to fight the whole night. And so it's a dog fight. We're gonna see who go out the nutrition, who go out last, whatever. That's what it don't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
So Shawn Porter had an excellent game plan. Those are test backs the whole fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree with you, bro. I agree.
Excellent breakdown. Excellent breakdown. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he made because everything Spence was doing, Shawn Porter had an answer for it. And Spence had to keep on adjusting. And at the last, the just was, okay, we're gonna just get in the phone booth, and we're just gonna do it. We want to see who they both, because it was like non-stop action the whole fight. Because Earl was cutting the ring off, and once he got him in the corner, Shawn Porter already had his mindset what he was gonna pivot and switch faces.
Mm-hmm.
I would think is that the rematch, Earl Spence knows that Shawn Porter gonna do those same things. Earl Spence gonna have to be ready for have an answer for those things. Then it's gonna be a good fight the next fight. But that's all I have to say, man. I'm gonna give a shout out to D-Town before I hang up.
Shouts out to you, man.
Shout to
Hey, South P. South P. That's a Roberto Duran move when Porter pivots from off the rope. Duran and was a master at that, you know. So Porter felt like a little Henry Armstrong and Roberto Duran. Man, he surprised me because Spence had the habit of overshooting his jab. You know, he did it like you said against Brooks. So that was an excellent breakdown. Excellent breakdown.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate you, my guy. Barton South D-Town in the building.
Let me give a shout to Dallas before I hang up.
For sure.
I want to say shout out to South Dallas, the Dirty South, shout out to North Dallas, the Naughty North, shout out to West Dallas, the Wild Wild West, shout out to East Dallas, the Wicked East, and shout out to Pleasant Grove, Ain't So Pleasant, and shout out to Oak Cliff, DOC, Dallas Oak Cliff, where you can tell the rap from the real. I'm out, man. Peace.
Peace you. Appreciate you, King. Peace. Yeah, man. You know, I think Errol Spence's jab was null and void due to the fact that the style Shawn Porter possessed. You know, he's very low center of gravity, you know, and he's very aggressive. So let's get to this couple more calls, then we got to get up off here, my peopleizations. I'm trying to get B. Bryant, whoever that is, trying to call in. I'm trying to get the 682 area code on the line because they've been calling for the past hour and a half. So I'm trying to get him.
What up?
What's shaking? What's your name? Where you calling from, my guy?
Man, Big Snack Pack.
Big Snack Pack in the. What's good with you, man? Yo, I saw you calling, man. I was trying to. That was me calling you back. I'm like, I got to get him on the line.
Yeah. I had left my phone downstairs. You got that barbecue, some chicken, eat some cookies and milk and shit. I had left my phone down there.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. What's shaking with you?
Man, nothing, just, man. I mean, man, it was a great fight, bro. That fight there, man, I probably had like 30 people at my house, bro.
Wow.
When I say that was a fight, that was a fight. But that's coming from somebody who's a fan of both starting off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only person I had to see with Junior too, because you know he was riding so hard, so I had to go and say I'm checking for it. But man, when I tell you, this was truly a fight that hell. I mean, obviously I wanted Earl to win, but man, I knew it was going. I knew the outcome was gonna be like it was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just real shit, man. But as far as the rematch though, man, it's like, yeah, I want to see a rematch. I mean, maybe a rematch would be good. But hey, remember what Sean Porter said right after he won the belt from Danny Garcia? He said if it don't happen, it ain't because of the fighter. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's kind of important when you think about it, because I mean, you know they got work behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the things in life, man. You can't get everything you want from boxing to just regular life. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's you gotta have checks and balances. So I mean, as a fan, hell yeah, I want to see Terrence Crawford or Spence for my life if I could, but whatever fight they put on, I'm gonna support it. You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
That's just what it is. Everybody in the chat, they gonna support it. If Danny Garcia next, we all gonna support it. We're gonna see Blue up there, and we're gonna see if it's gonna be a hot shot, because it's a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But,
right.
I mean, shit, it's just what it is. Sometimes it is. Like you say, you don't play boxing. You box. So I mean, everything's strategized, especially when you know what I'm saying, you're getting a lot of money behind it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like I say, we can talk about what we want, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, like Sean Porter said, it ain't really gonna be up there, you know what I'm saying, between the fighters when you got stakes on the line like this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. See, it's a consolation prize. You know what I mean? And the thing is,
right.
And the thing is, you know, when Sean Porter said, you know, the powers that be didn't want Errol Spence next, everybody jumped on him. Oh, Sean is avoiding him. Sean is scared. And I tried to tell y'all, Sean, I sat in the back, just me and Sean, and he looked me dead in my eyes, and he looked me in my eyes, and he said, "That's the fight I want." When I said to him, Sean, what about Errol Spence, man? How you think you match up? Like, is that a fight you want? And this was off the record, and he allowed me to talk about it, so I'm talking about it. And he said, he looked me dead in my eyes as a man, and he said, "Hey, that's the fight that I want, man. That's the fight I want." And that was before, that was in training camp for Danny Garcia fight. And then he said, as long as I get past Danny Garcia, he says, it's hard for me to look past Danny Garcia because it's a big fight. He said, but that's the fight that I want. And you know, because of his mannerisms, Sean Porter gets overlooked. That's the bottom line.
Right.
Because Errol stepped in the ring and he said, "Oh, hey, sir," and people took that and ran. Oh, he called him sir, and this isn't it. He called him sir after the fight.
Right.
He called him sir. You know what I'm saying? After the fight was already signed. That didn't stop it. Right. It's just respect. It's just his mannerism. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, what you think, Kurt?
Yeah, I agree. Sean is a gentleman, man. You know, see, we quick to label fighters as scared and ducking, and look what happened. Not only he fought Spence, he was highly competitive. So we have to stop it, man. We judge these guys' character as men, not as fighters. And you know, when other fighters, you know, when fighters hear that the fans say he's scared, I know they thinking they don't know what it's like to be in my position, and they fought. So he wasn't scared, and he was giving Spence work. So you know, Sean Porter, like I said, he's won. He's won in a lot of different ways. He might have lost, but he's won.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Hey, man, we're gonna have to get up out of here, man, because the general 7. But go ahead, finish cooking.
Is shit. You gotta think they didn't even recognize him the WBO belt. So that should tell you right now, Terrence Crawford is really gonna be at the back of the line on the cool though. But I appreciate you hitting me, bro.
And I'm glad you said that too, because I just saw a Top Rank or ESPN. I saw another card. I'm glad you just brought that up because I forgot about that. I'm glad you just said they don't recognize WBO, because I just watched another event and they didn't recognize who was it? It was a PBC fighter or something like that. They didn't. It wasn't the belt, but it was a fighter that they just didn't recognize. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it goes both ways. But you know, people pick and choose to what side they favor. and that's the side they highlight. You know what I'm saying? Because I just saw another card, and I totally forgot what it was, and I'm glad you said that because now I got to go back in the archives and find what I was what that was, man. Because it was either a fight or something that wasn't recognized on the PBC Showtime side. So you know, we know what it is.
Straight up. But all right, man, y'all take it easy, man, and y'all do your motherfucking thing, man.
Appreciate you.
100.
Appreciate you, Shan.
brother.
Already cut.
Yes, sir.
Salute.
Salute to my peoples, man. I'm sorry, man, we can't get to everybody calls, man. You know, because you know we get special guests on, and you know, you see, we had a troll call in, and you know, we gotta monitor who calls in, especially when we got the special guests on. You know what I mean? So that takes up time to bring them to you guys live, and sometimes we just can't get to every call. And the general 7-8 Sports comes on at 8 p.m., man. So, you know, Kurt, man, this is a show we was planning on doing for an hour. Could you imagine? 2 hours is not even enough.
Hey, man, like I said, man, when you have a great show like we do, man, it's just the time just go fast, man. You know, funny how time flies when you're having fun, as the Janet Jackson said in the song. And, you know, hey, man, the show is popping, man. You know, we got a great show. We got A-level guests, Sean Porter, Deontay Wilder, Derrick James, and we got some more people. But not only that, me and you, you know, we have a great show, and the people that call in, we salute you. The people in the chat, we appreciate you, man. You guys make the show. Hey, man, we're doing our thing, man. One of the best shows already on YouTube, and we just beginning.
And we ain't even go a full 2 weeks yet.
Ain't that something? So the show was great, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Hey, Roy Babinoff, that's what it was. He said the Zone didn't recognize Charlo. Yeah, I was watching the Zone fight the other day, and they didn't recognize Charlo as the WBC belt holder. That's what it was, Kurt. Yep.
Oh, okay.
They had the middleweights up there, and WBC and Jamal Charlo wasn't an option up there. So for all the people that was complaining about how they didn't recognize the WBO and Terrence Crawford, well, guess what? They went right behind that and didn't recognize the WBC of all belts and Jamal Charlo. So, you know, it goes both ways. It's tick for tack. You know what I mean? So what you think about that, Kurt, before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. You know, it's funny how now Boxing Day, they don't recognize a certain organization. And it's real funny to me watching boxing so long, man. I remember the NABF title and the USBA title. They weren't even world titles. They were regional titles, and they were highly prestige titles. I believe Hearns was an NABF middleweight champion, you know, before. And now you got, you know, whole organizations that's being ignored. It's just funny to me, you know, politics, Cold War, whatever, man. But that's boxing, man. Politics in boxing. It will always go on because a lot of money is involved in shenanigans, and you know that's just the way it is.
Yep. But Kurt, go ahead. Any last words for us, bro?
Yeah, man. Great show, Blue. Great job. The interview, man. Blue's a legend. The capo.
Appreciate
you again, man. And hey, chat, we appreciate you. You know, I appreciate you because a lot of people got my personal phone number. I just like talking boxing, man. I don't care who knows what. I just like talking boxing. LDBC, United We Stand, Divided We Fall. You know, let's subscribe to Scrapbook Boxing and Legendary Topcast. Go over there and show those brothers support, man. And I just want to say thank you, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with great content. Salute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. So all we got for y'all. Go over to the general channel, 7-8 Sports TV. He should be coming on right now. Go check out the general, 7-8 Sports TV. We gone. Tomorrow, we'll be back on, man. Y'all already know what it is. Salute. Peace.
Peace.